Hello there, welcome. My name is Brian Tupper. I am a fifth grade teacher at Korea International School, and I want to go over my COETAIL final project with you. Um, I figured the easiest way to do it would be to actually walk through what I am posting. Uh, so save you some time, save me some time, and got to think outside the box a little bit. Um, First start is basically me talking a little bit about some of my things that has happened since COETAIL started. Um, One of the themes that I've had is not being a fan of professional development and how COETAIL really has changed that. Probably one of the first things that first time I've actually used professional development in the classroom instead of just being bored by meeting after meeting after meeting of wasting my time, wasting your time. Um, First thing we had to look at was personalization, individualization, and differentiation. Basically, this was who was in charge and who basically controlled the learning. Well, being a fifth grade teacher, we use a sixth, seventh, and eighth grade textbook. Um, so I kind of take control of the unit plan and how what we should do. So here's examples of the stuff that we would do, entering, the questions that we would have. You can go through, take a look at the questions that we have. I like to incorporate a little bit of video, try and make it a little bit more relevant. But when it comes to the work, the kids are in charge of that. They are one of the first things I ever learned when I was a teacher was believe his name was Dr. Harry Wong, I believe, the first 100 days of school. And I saw him say something that meant a lot to me. He's like, I don't do a lot of work. When I asked him if he was ever tired after teaching, he goes, I make them do all the work. And that's very true. And it's the way I've done a lot of my teaching. This is just, COETAIL has just transformed how I get them to do their work. I'm going to show you right here. What you see here are just the different or the Google Slides presentations I have put together. And I have then taken these and made them into Nearpods, which I'm going to discuss a little bit later. How do they have control? Who has ownership? Do they have a choice? Do they have interest? Absolutely. You'll see that in one of their projects. One of the things that I said earlier was a hard textbook. So we decided there's no going to be read and answer questions, nothing like that. Go take this home, read chapter 12, and do the questions on that page. It's not going to be like that. We have to explain all the vocabulary to them. So, excuse me, during COETAIL 4, when we talked about visual literacy, I had the idea of let's start incorporating that into our vocabulary. So instead of doing flashcards or writing down definitions, which is mundane, they started doing visual vocabulary. As I say, a picture is worth 1,000 words. So here's one of my students, and she's doing the geography. So this is a land bridge. And they had to go and find, the basis was you had to write down a definition from the textbook and then find a picture of it. So if you can see, you can scroll through. All these are definitions from the textbook along with their pictures that they have found. And here's another example from a different student doing more different types of things. Wanted to show you an example of the fact that we are not just using technology, but we are incorporating it. We had the students do a math circle graph, then they had to do it with numbers, and they had to create a slideshow. But at the end, they would also have to do their color their map in old school style. So do a little both. We have to mix in a little bit of everything. Group work, you can see here we had them doing compare and contrast. We have them they were comparing and contrasting the Philippines and Indonesia and their histories, and they both would work together at the same time. Around that time, we talked about European colonization and of Southeast Asia. And again, every one of these pictures that these kids have was all found using the way I explained it to them, that they could use the Google search on the side, as long as they used free or it can be modified photos that they, so that's what they had to use to search. So we had groups, and they would do groups and they would sequence their groups, and then they went together as a class. I shared with them this whole thing, and they put everything together. Now, information here is like, I never assigned June 1521. I didn't assign Giselle Spain, or I assigned her Spain, but I didn't assign her. They sat there and they created their own, they worked together in a group and they had to, and Google has been fantastic at doing that. It's really transformed the classroom. Collaboration, we've worked with Alex Boylan, who is, he was the winner of the Amazing Race. He created a show called Around the World for Free a couple of years ago, in which he traveled around the world with nothing, with no money in his pocket, and to help strangers via the internet. He was broadcast on CBS.com, and you can take a look at one of the episodes that we watched with him visiting a Red Cross camp in Cambodia. I've been lucky enough to be able to interact with him, and we've had our students ask questions, and he's been able to send answers to them. So he went to Thailand. We saw him in Thailand, and he got to live with monks in Thailand. He got to live with monks in Cambodia. He visited Red Cross in Cambodia. He was in Vietnam. So he got to see, it was a different way to look at Southeast Asia. Authenticity and relevancy is very important. One of the favorite projects that they had, this was the kids, they absolutely enjoyed it, was a dream vacation. And they would use Viator to find leisure activities, Hotels.com to find lodging, and Travelocity to price out airfare. They had to find at least 3 leisure activities. One of them, here, then they would take a circle graph using numbers, and what percentage did you spend on travel, what percentage did you spend on lodging, and what percent did you spend on your leisure activities. So the kids got to realize, wow, mom and dad spent a lot of money on get me there and keep me, with a roof over my head. And then they had to price out how much it would cost. Then they got to put together, using TripAdvisor through TripWow, this type of presentation, which is really cool. The kids absolutely enjoyed it. So I'll just let you watch for a couple of seconds. And this is something, if you got 3 minutes, I don't want to waste 3 more minutes of your time, but this is something that I would definitely suggest, and using with your kids. They absolutely enjoyed it. Very simple, very easy to use. The last thing I want to talk about was Nearpod. I have a video of me using Nearpod. If you see here, you basically, as a teacher, control their device. They have to answer it in real time. Every kid is engaged. It's a great way to work on kids writing complete sentences, because you're walking around behind them. The answers are coming up on your screen. There you can do polls, you can give them quizzes. It will produce a report, which I'm going to show you at the end. An absolutely transformative tool to use in the classroom. It is free. You can upgrade if you want to use them. If you want them to use homework, but something that the lesson that this video doesn't really do it justice, but it's a fantastic tool. I'm actually being asked to present Nearpod at a conference, the Global Education City Conference, this coming month, and actually Jeff Utek will be there. Last thing is, there's my website that you can check out, and my website has links to all the students' pages. Here's an example of one of the students' pages. This is her science page. If you were to go to her home, which is just bloggers, they created their own web page, basically a portfolio. We taught them how to use Evernote and Pistachio, and they can put all their projects online. They can put pictures, they can put videos. So this is she's having a little trouble embedding her YouTube, but they got to post their pictures, and it's just been really a nice thing that they can do. So I suggest doing that, taking a look at that. If you don't think I'm using technology, I got to say, come on, man. Come on. I need Michael Irvin to do it. Come on, man, because that's what you feel. So if you want to watch a little, come on, man, see Tom Brady not get high-fived. That's what I'm talking about. Here's lastly, you have the assessment pieces. This is an assessment piece from Nearpod. This is an open-ended assessment piece where you get to see what their answers were. Here's a poll piece where you get to see what each kid voted. And here is a quiz where it tells you what percentage of the students got questions right. And then we, being a standards-based school, here's the rubric that we use for the Southeast Asia Dream Vacation, for social studies, and for math. That's it. Thank you, COETAIL. I apologize for going over a minute long. Ferris Bueller's Day Off. It's time to go home. It's over. Later, COETAIL. Thank you.